This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
He is not Derrick Henry. He is not one of those special backs in that sense. A really good one that's been outstanding in fantasy for quite some time. But you can also hear the buzz recently about it being more of a split backfield. And if that's so, then Aaron Jones' value takes a hit, Jordan Mason's value goes up, and there's an opportunity at some point if Aaron Jones misses time where you can see Jordan Mason take that backfield over.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
It's a safe shot, pin high left with a 6-iron. And then this is where JJ enters the fray again and hits this like slice 5-iron. That was just, I mean, it curved probably a good, 30, 40 feet, almost flies in the hole. And it was just a crazy shot because nobody would ever really try to hit that type of slider.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
An HRR, parlay, a combo that you want to do. I genuinely prefer away teams and players that hit at the top of the lineup or in the top half, just because you are guaranteed just that extra plate appearance here or there. How many times, throughout the season, I've been like, listen, if this guy gets on, he will have one more at bat in the 9th inning. And if he doesn't get there, he doesn't get there. If you just take them that's placed higher, they're going to be in a spot to cash that back.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, yeah. Hour number 2, straight fire underway. The hottest topics, you know how we get down. This is the SportsGrid Network, and this is the early line, and it's how we set the table for the rest of your SportsGrid day. Down your right side, along with Joe Ranieri, and away we go. Now, I know Joe's upset last night. The Milwaukee Brewers did him a little bit dirty on his best bet, which we've been absolutely on fire on. But I covered you, Joe. Had the Athletics at a plus money price. We're a team here. We picked it up, and we're expecting big things from our best bets at the end of the hour as well, right? That's how we get down.
The way it is, Donnie, it's a lot of baseball still to be played here, though, over the next 5 weeks. So we'll get back at it here today.
Exactly. And by the way, just football season does start. Like Saturday starts it here. Don't let baseball disappear out of your mind in the month of September, because that is the month where there are winners and losers, Joe. You might have to pay a little bit more, but go, wait a second, I'm going to get a full blast Yankees lineup against a dead in the water, let's just say Chicago White Sox team. Those are fun things to watch you play out, and money certainly can be made in that nonetheless. So the PSA out there is, just because football season's coming up, don't you dare leave Major League Baseball in your rearview mirror, because the playoffs are fun, and so is September baseball at that. But let's get to the 7 and 7 and the hottest topics, and something we opened the show with, Joe. Just an odd story in Kansas City. Andy Reid, late night after midnight, working in his office. A bullet ricochets through the glass and lands 15 feet from him and drills the wall. Andy Reid now has bulletproof glass. Like the president will drive around, or dignitaries, or, I don't know, real important people, or somebody in the military. Like, that's bulletproof. Andy Reid needed a bulletproof glass installation in his office. Who's trying to hit Big Red? The guy's got to be like the nicest man on the planet.
And how this happened 15 months ago, and nobody managed to pick it up in any way, shape, or form as a story is kind of, I guess we should be used to that. The NFL only lets us know what they want us to know here. But the police have said, there's no indication that it was Andy or the Chiefs were the target, but they also haven't arrested anybody. They have no leads. The investigation is ongoing. 3 bullets fired into that building. 1 lands 15 feet from Andy Reid, and we're just hearing about it now.
Yeah, pretty wild story there to break that news because again, it's not just something random like, oh, nobody like even if nobody was in the building, that's a crazy story. But the fact that it almost hit Andy Reid in his office. And by the way, it just goes to show you the dedication of NFL coaches and probably college coaches across the board. Joe, we're talking early May, off season. Dude is in his office after midnight, probably breaking down film. And it's not as if Andy Reid's breaking in as like an intern at 24 years old. The man is an old man and loves his football craft just like that. Yeah. Pretty incredible if those guys work that long of hours and can still keep up all that knowledge after all those years and all that pressure. Good stuff here. But we do have football tonight, Joe. Doubleheader time. And if you're looking at starting quarterbacks and starters tonight, at least one of these teams or two of these teams going to give you that, Joe.
Yeah, we're going to get, we better get a little something here tonight to clarify the direction that both of these teams are going to go. So even this whole week, Donnie, including tonight, there are still a lot of things to be decided in this preseason week 3. So, and it starts here tonight with the Panthers and the Steelers, with one team going, yeah, we're not playing anybody, and the other team going, well, we're still going to work on some things. Could be an edge here tonight because the market loves the Steelers.
By the way, also in that second game here, New England and New York, could this be the Cam Scatterboo game here tonight, Joe? Is that they unleash Scatterboo and Jackson Dart as the future of the Giants? Is that something to get excited about?
Listen, at MetLife, right? So would not shock me if we get a whole lot more Jackson Dart, Jameis Winston. Don't forget Tommy DeVito still trying to battle with Winston for a possible spot on the roster. So a lot of things still up for grabs here tonight.
I'll tell you what is up for grabs, too, is what the Raiders are going to do this season. I don't like the progression of the team. You can't fault ownership for saying to yourself, Joe, I am going to go out and make the best team I can possible in the field to win. I get it, but there's also a referendum on how you are supposed to build that franchise. Not getting Geno Smith, not paying him a lot of money, not getting an 80-year-old head coach, and Trey Hendrickson, who is 30, who's a very good football player, don't get me wrong, and Max Crosby is an absolute dominant defensive end, and that would be a fun pairing. It's not going to lead to a championship. And you're going to spend a lot of money and give up a lot of draft assets in order to get that done. I don't like this move for Trey Hendrickson if it is the Vegas Raiders as the leaders to get him. But by the way, it also brings up the other point, Joe. What the hell is Cincinnati trading them for? Just get him in camp and pay him.
I don't know what they're doing, quite honestly, here. But, I mean, Joe Burrow came out earlier in the week and said, listen, I think this is just the way they operate. I didn't sign, I didn't get my deal done until just before the start of the regular season. The same thing with Chase and Higgins. So maybe this is just par for the course, that we should expect better news. And maybe the Raiders' interest could be used as leverage, but he needs to stay with the Bengals.
Absolutely needs to stay with the Bengals. They need a pass rush. He's a pass rush specialist here. You want to win Super Bowls, you need a good pass rush. That's the way it's done here. Let's keep it moving. Some injury information for those Cincinnati Bengals. They're going to lose a guard possibly for the season. Cordell Volson, shoulder surgery. Not a good sign when you're trying to protect your franchise guy in Joe Burrow.
No, this is actually a guy that has been one of the most consistent on the team since he was drafted in 2022 at the guard spot. The big question mark has always been with Cincinnati. Can you protect Joe Burrow? Can you do that? They made an investment this year, and now they lost a pretty important piece of that investment there with their backup guard out for the season.
San Francisco 49ers, DeMarcus Robinson suspended 3 games. Feels like the entire wide receiving core, whether injury, suspension, or what have you, won't be appearing in week number 1. They needed help, went out and got Sky Moore, but DeMarcus Robinson, he's going to be down for at least 3 games here.
And they just can't. They were so injured last year, Donnie, and now it's just rolling right into this year where, at what point do they start getting a little bit of good luck here? That entire wide receiving room is a mess now. Now they got to sign guys off the scrap heap just to have somebody healthy to play in week 1.
It's a tough scene. It really is. I'll tell you what isn't a tough scene, though. The Philadelphia Phillies and Kyle Schwarber, 45th bomb of the season. Getting a little bit closer in the standings to Shohei Ohtani. Did you know Shohei Ohtani dropped from a minus 20,000 to a minus 10,000 because the Schwarber bombs keep on getting hit in Philadelphia? Schwarber on pace for 50-plus this season.
Maybe the most under-talked about superstar in Major League Baseball. We're hearing, the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, everybody, Ohtani. Guys watching what Schwarber as a leadoff hitter is doing right now, Donnie, it's kind of crazy, is it not?
It is. He's been absolutely fantastic. You talk about sometimes an under-the-radar thing. That guy hits a ton of home runs. What a great free agent signing off the open market. Like, nobody wanted Schwarber, came with a very good deal to Philadelphia, and he is going to get, by the way, free agency starts for him at the end of this year. I wonder what big Schwarbaum's going to be getting paid, whether it's in Philadelphia or not. He's going to demand a ton of money in the open marketplace. How about the Pittsburgh Pirates? Well, we know they ain't paying any money in any marketplace to anybody at any time. Bubba Chandler's going to come up. He's probably going to high-five a little bit like, hey, man, what's going on, Paul Skeens? Hopefully we'll end up on the Yankees in 3 years, but he gets his call up.
Oh, not probably. I think they're bringing him up so the Yankees can get a look at him here and fit him for a uniform sooner rather than later. Listen, Pittsburgh has never had a shortage of quality talent and pitchers, mostly because, well, they're usually always picking at the top of the draft every year because they blow. But I'm thinking, Donnie, that maybe if they ever decided to actually invest in their talent, the future could be bright there in Pittsburgh.
Now, the future can be bright here in Pittsburgh, but also understand this. There's a reason why the number one prospect in baseball was not called up earlier in the season to help the Pittsburgh Pirates, because the Pittsburgh Pirates don't want to actually pay this guy, and they want to extend it down the line. UCLA football, they also named their starting quarterback, Joe. How about that? Woohoo!
Yeah, and
Hurry
it's
up,
not
Joe.
the former NIL Tennessee quarterback. Unbelievable.
Io Malial was the name, baby. Tom Vecchio joins us next.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay. I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
It's lively in these streets on the early line. It's what we do. It's a Thursday. We're preparing you for football tonight, for football this weekend, for Major League Baseball, anything you need, which includes bullets flying through offices in training facilities for the Kansas City Chiefs. You come to the right place. It's the early line. It's Donnie Rightside. It's Joe Ranieri. Now we'd like to welcome in Tom Vecchio here, my counterpart on Pro Baseball Today, each and every Sunday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. to get down with all the latest Major League Baseball breakdowns. A lot of fun to be had. Tom Vecchio, it's a Thursday. How we feeling, brother?
I'm doing good. A little bit earlier than
good.
usual today. We got a lot to get to. College football starting this weekend. Donnie, know you'll be doing the show. As of now, I kind of lean Clemson -3.5 at least to open the weekend.
Clemson. We'll see what happens. That first game that's going to start off top 25 action in Dublin, Ohio. We'll all be watching. And that comes on just directly after SportsGrid's College Football Today with Donnie Rightside and Joe Ducey. But that's neither here nor there, Tom. We got to get talking about Major League Baseball. You know me. Yeah. I'm a Phillies fan. Can you answer the Philadelphia Phillies guaranteeing every day double-digit strikeouts for their pitchers and everybody in lineup, including Max Kepler, now going off? What's in the water in Philadelphia?
Honestly, maybe it's the Zach Wheeler injury where it's like a rallying moment for them, right? Yeah. Where you lose your pitcher. And listen, Chris Sanchez has been awesome this season, kind of without this, but it's like, okay, we gotta step up. We have a chance to just secure the division. We got a good team coming in here with the Mariners, and we're looking at 15, 20 hits day in and day out, pitcher stepping up. Duran with the foot, he got hit, but then he's back. Like, you're just having all the pieces fall into place, and they're playing their best, and they're not fully healthy. So technically, further down the line, they're going to be getting better as the season comes to a close.
Well, nobody between the Yankees and the Phillies, we should be able to get 40 hits a game, 30 runs, and everything else here. But different ballpark, different atmosphere tonight in the Bronx with the Yankees and the Red Sox. What are we going to get in this game tonight?
I as a Yankees fan, I like the way that they're playing. Winning games is good. A part of me wants to take the Red Sox at least a plus money in some of these games just for at least some type of emotional hedge, I guess. But I'm not expecting Luis Gil to be out there for a long duration. And this will have a true playoff and type environment. So any early trouble, I think pitchers are going to get pulled quickly on both sides, really. So let's go to Luis Gil under 5.5 strikeouts, -138. It's a little bit of juice on this one, but I really do like it. He's only had 3 starts so far, 3, 7, 4 strikeouts from him. Again, I just don't expect him going super deep into the game when it's all said and done. The Red Sox offense has been struggling as of late, but traditionally they do hit well at Yankee Stadium. So despite the struggles that they've had, if you told me Gil goes out there 5 innings, only 2 runs, and he ends up with 3 or 4 strikeouts, that's what I'm kind of expecting. I do expect the pitch count to kind of get away from him, and he'll just get pulled early.
Tommy boy, let's get down to Florida here. St. Louis and Tampa Bay. Here's always some of the stuff that I love. Sonny Gray is listed at number 1 on my card today for the past 45 days with xFIP here to 2.81. But his ERA is a 6.17. Yes. It's hard to wrap your head around. The best pitcher on the card has a 6 ERA, but that's what analytics tell you. Now, I'll also tell you this. Joe Boyle, he's got a 5.53 ERA since July 1st and a 5.20 xFIP number. He's not stopping anybody tonight. Now, you look at both of the lineups tonight. They're not that great. But again, does it have to be great when it's 85-degree temperatures and a wind blowing out in Tampa where the ball flies here tonight? What are you looking at between St. Louis and Tampa?
I'm just looking at runs. And, we saw it from Tampa. Obviously, some late heroics from them to tie things up last night. They got some runs across the board in the past 2 days against the Yankees, who I think we can say have a better pitching staff. It may not be great overall, but it is a better pitching staff compared to the Cardinals. And as you said, with Sonny Gray, Sonny Gray got blown up last week by the Yankees. If you look over his last 6, 7 starts, we're looking at multiple games of 6, 8 earned runs allowed. Sure, there's a couple games there with only 1 earned run. He is the best pitcher on today's slate when it's all said and done. His ERA is through the roof. His xFIP is significantly better. I would say at this point, it's like we're waiting for him to turn the corner. But it's also the end of August, and he is approaching some high innings. So I don't want to say he's running out of gas at this point. If this was May or June and he had a bad stretch of starts, I would say let's just trust Sonny Gray. This game probably falls under. He probably racks up the strikeouts. But it's the end of August. I really don't see that coming through when it's all said and done. So if we know Joe Boyle's going to give up 3 or 4 runs, if you tell me Sonny Gray gives up only 3, I'm not surprised. But at that point, we are pushing towards the over, and I think we're on pace for it. So give me some more runs tonight.
Gotcha.
Runs. I love it. Now, are we expecting a total and utter collapse by Milwaukee, Tom, now that they've lost 3 in a row to the Cubs and have another one this afternoon?
I don't. I'll be honest. I was typing out the Brewers money line when I was sending picks to Tommy, our producer behind the scenes. I was typing out Brewers money line.
Too many
and then I was looking at it and I'm like, listen, Quinn Priester's on the mound. And as long as I saw before, it was plus money on the Brewers at that point. You know, Imanaga on the other side, Quinn Priester. I'm like, do I want to go with the Brewers? I think I may end up on the Brewers when it's all said and done. But this is just circumstantial. You know, last night, Mizorowski back on the mound, a ton of wind blowing in. The total barely goes over. I don't see the Brewers losing this series. I don't want to say outright, obviously, but in this fashion to the Cubs. So give me the Brewers to bounce back today. Give me that plus money. It's obviously going to be a lower scoring game. It's a 6.5 total with more wind blowing in today. I think we fall under and the Brewers come away with the win. And the momentum that the Cubs thought they had is going to be kind of stamped out as the series comes to an end.
There you go. Some fun stuff here. If the Cubs can continue to win and put some pressure on the Brewers down the stretch, that would be fun. You know what else is fun, Tom? Preseason football tonight. Doubleheader. Pittsburgh, Carolina, New England, and the New York Giants. Any quick thoughts between those 2 football games tonight?
You know, if I had to go with anything, I think it's siding with the Pats. The Pats and the culture change that they have had with Vrabel and the overall season-to-season improvement in terms of just overall skill. Granted, we know the stars aren't going to be out there, but the established culture of effort and trying to win is something real with Vrabel, and the players want to play for him. So I don't think they get blown out. I think the Giants will score just because they have 4 viable quarterbacks, but I do think the Pats will cover. So give me the Pats to cover, and I think they have a very good season.
There we go. Tonight, the Giants favored by 6.5. The Pittsburgh Steelers on the road against the Panthers. They're favored by 4.5 points. Preseason football doubleheader tonight. 4 games Friday, full slate Saturday. Then we wind up in the regular season. Tom Vecchio, thanks for joining us today. Catch Tom and myself on Sunday's Pro Baseball Today show. Tom, have a good rest of your day. And we will be right back on the early line.
Playing online blackjack and want to try upping your odds? Well, here's a tip. Cheat cards tell you statistics for whether you hit or stand on every move. If you're into stats, this could be your ticket to winning. And it is totally legal. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Bengals are listening to trade offers for perennial Pro Bowler Trey Hendrickson, per me, and Tom Pelissero. It's unclear if the NFL sack leader will be playing elsewhere in 2025, and a trade will be a real challenge, but time will tell. You know it's not a real challenge? In the offseason, when he doesn't want to be here and you're trying to make a trade for him. Most people that say, okay, I have to sell a house or sell a car, let me put it out on the market, and I'll take the best deal that's available.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay. I'm not going to name names.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
They're saying that he might be back for the start of the playoffs, but their playoff spot isn't secure with the Mariners bearing down on them and the wild card completely in flux. So this is like borderline red alert because the pitching staff has not been good. We have not seen good stuff from Framber Valdez. So now that the back end of the bullpen is not good, I don't know what to make.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
We just have my partner in crime on Sunday morning's Major League Baseball show known as Pro Baseball Today right here on the SportsGrid Network, Tom Vecchio. And we were talking about this series between Milwaukee and Chicago. Joe Ranieri, this is an interesting one because we were talking early in the week, like what's going to happen? Hey, could we see 20-plus wins in a row for the Brewers if they just roll into Chicago and continue to blast away? That didn't happen. Now the Cubs are looking to win this series here. It's Quinn Priester versus Shota Imanaga, the left-handed pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. This game's going to start at 2:20 in the afternoon. And I don't know, like some people say, like, hey, we can have climate change because the government like controls the wind and the air and the weather and stuff like that. It's the wind to ever blow out anymore in Chicago. Every single day, I'm like, okay, where's that total? Oh, it's 7.5 or less. We got 6.5s out there today. Stop the madness. Priester Imanaga. What do we see today? Apparently no offense.
Yeah, well, 6.5 now is kind of crazy. A Priester, though, is actually one of the better ground ball pitchers in baseball. He gets nearly a 60% ground ball rate here, which explains why his ERA is so low as well. And you got to love it. Imanaga is kind of the same way. These aren't guys that are going to get barreled a lot and guys lifting the ball in the air. Not that it matters with the wind blowing in. So I get why the price from a total perspective is where it is. But listen, they have done a great job of winning a lot of Priester's starts here. I think now is the time if you're going to jump back on the Brewers bandwagon. I think now might be the time to do it here at this kind of price. If you'd have said this 5 days ago, Donnie, that we could get the Brewers at this price with an opportunity to win the game with Priester on the mound, I'd take it here. I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, this losing streak, congrats to the Cubs. But again, I think the Brewers bounce back in a big way this afternoon.
Milwaukee and Chicago, by the way, it is a favorite towards Chicago here today. Opened up overnight around that minus 142 price, Joe, but it is backtracking here. We're as low as minus 126 out there in Vegas, minus 130s at BetMGM, Bet 365. So that is going backwards, but still, you're right. A plus money price for the Milwaukee Brewers as we enter into today's action. And that game will start also in the afternoon at 2:20. Let's stay in the afternoon, 961, 962. Texas with a win over Kansas City yesterday. Now we see a favorite overnight of Patrick Corbin taking on Michael Lorenzen. It was Texas, but now we're seeing a shift over to a favorite towards Kansas City with Michael Lorenzen. A 210 start out in Kansas City, a total that is listed at 9. It's one of those games that, like, I do think I'll probably be involved some way, shape, or form yesterday. But when the people talk about, like, hey, bad beats, we like to talk about them and have it. Joe, I had a 3.5 team total in Kansas City last night. They hit a 3-run home run to start the game with the first 3 runners on base. The very next batter walked. So I had 3 runs on the board in the bottom of the first inning and a runner on base. They didn't score the rest of that game yesterday, which was painful and cost them the victory over Texas. They respond back today. How are you looking to play this game between Corbin and Lorenzen?
Well, I'm looking to, finally consistently fade Patrick Corbin in some way, shape, or form. I think the wheels are starting to come off here, Donnie. Not to mention that Kansas City, who has, I believe, the fewest home runs in Major League Baseball as a team. And yet their 6 games in which they have won 5 of 6, they have out home run the Texas Rangers 14-3. It's absolutely crazy here. I think that continues. I think Kansas City and the Bats, I'm going to back them in the first 5 here, Donnie, because once again, I think Patrick Corbin, he's running out of gas. I think the first 5 over is worth a look, but I like the Kansas City Royals to bounce back early in this one.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And but you're right. Like, usually, the ebbs and flows of Major League Baseball, Joe. You struggle a little bit to plate the day before. You blast out with 7 the next day. They should win this game. And Lorenzen, by the way, his last doesn't have a lot of innings pitched, a 3.32 xFIP number to 172 ERA. We'll see if he holds up. But you're right about Patrick Corbin. Sometimes, hey, resurgence of his career. What a great season. Now we're starting to see that Patrick Corbin that we saw for the past couple years. Like, please, no, don't take him out of baseball. He is a great fade. We'll see if that continues today. San Francisco and San Diego, 4:10 start afternoon action. Verlander versus Cease, a heavy favorite for San Diego to minus 188 to minus 190 price. They pounded San Francisco last night. San Francisco can't hit, so they probably can't hit Cease today either, Joe.
Well, which Cease do we get? One that walks 19 guys in 3 innings, or what? What are we going to get here? Either which way, it does feel like a pretty good under spot. Verlander pitched really well his last time out. Just they couldn't score any runs for him, and he's pitched great against the Padres. Under for me here in this one.
Yeah, great move to get Devers. Really spiked that season there for the San Francisco Giants as we look forward to the future. They just can't hit. Same story every single year. Home, away, doesn't matter. Padres were the better team last night. Padres gained a game on the Los Angeles Dodgers because the Dodgers lost in Colorado. We'll see if that changes. We have 2 more games on deck that we're going to talk about next. The Athletics and the Twins to start the day. And then also, it's over the Dodgers. Do they bounce back with Kershaw on the mound? Come on back to your early line and find out next.
Playing online blackjack and want to try upping your odds? Well, here's a tip. Cheat cards tell you statistics for whether you hit or stand on every move. If you're into stats, this could be your ticket to winning. And it is totally legal. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Bengals are listening to trade offers for perennial Pro Bowler Trey Hendrickson per me and Tom Pelissaro. It's unclear if the NFL sack leader will be playing elsewhere in 2025, and a trade will be a real challenge, but time will tell. You know what's not a real challenge? In the offseason, when he doesn't want to be here and you're trying to make a trade for him. Most people that say, okay, I have to sell a house or sell a car, let me put it out on the market, and I'll take the best deal that's available.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay. I'm not going to name names.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
They're saying that he might be back for the start of the playoffs, but their playoff spot isn't secure with the Mariners bearing down on them and the wild card completely in flux. So this is like borderline red alert because the pitching staff has not been good. We have not seen good stuff from Framber Valdez. So now that the back end of the bullpen is not good, I don't know what to make of it.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want afternoon action in Major League Baseball? We got it here, Joe Ranieri, and I'm talking about Minnesota and the Athletics. You talked about the Athletics last night heading into extra innings, a 2-2 tie after they had a 2-0 lead in that game. 2-run home run last night, but I believe it was Langoliers that put one opposite field into the right field seats to give the Athletics the victory. And me, my best bet here on the show in our bye segment, which we will have at the end of the show. We're going to go 2-0. Don't you worry about that. But if we look at the game today, it's Perkins versus Urania. 2 bad pitchers on the mound. Roughly a pick 'em in any direction. You see that price point right there of a -134. They're gone. They're -115s, -120s, depending where you're shopping. But a 9.5 total. Early afternoon action in Minnesota. 2 bad pitchers. Do we get more fireworks than the 6 runs we saw yesterday in extras, Joe?
It's kind of crazy when you think about it, though. But the hottest team in the American League now for a while is the A's. They've won 16 of their last 24, Donnie, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. And now they're on the verge of sweeping the Twins, who, let's face it, just, they gutted this team. They've been playing for next year, and we have known that here. So, losing 5 of their last 6, but they did get Jose Urena. Okay. I think the A's bats continue here. I don't think there's any reason to keep fading them. The A's, yes. Are they a great team? No. Are they better than a lot of the bottom feeders? I think they are. I like the A's. And it's a team that's played together the whole year, Donnie. They're all young and they're all hungry. So I'll take the A's.
Yeah, we'll see if they can do it again today. But clutch performances yesterday. Both of those teams used a lot of their bullpen in that extra inning game. We'll see if that bears today, where it's like, hey, starters, help us out. But these aren't the starters I can tip you. Like, Urania is a bad starter. Perkins, he just threw 5 innings the last game out, 3 earned runs. Before that, 6 innings, which wasn't bad. Still 3 earned runs to start. Before that, 3 innings and 4 earned runs. So we're not looking at shutdown pitchers on the mound today. We'll see how much fun we can have in Minnesota to start that day. Mile high matchup here. The Dodgers looking to bounce back. They'll send Clayton Kershaw, the lefty, to the mound, going up against Chase Dollander. Total in this game listed at 11.5 to 12, depending on where you're shopping at. And another monster favorite for the Dodgers today, as high as 250 in the marketplace now.
Yeah, don't expect Ohtani in the lineup after he got drilled in the thigh. They had insult to injury there as pitching yesterday, where he gave up 5 runs. But in typical Dodger fashion, they have over the years dominated this Rockies team. But again, coming off of that sweep of the Padres, it felt like a letdown spot, Donnie, in this series. And that's kind of exactly what we have gotten. I like Kershaw to be able to bounce back in this spot. I like the bats to bounce back here. I'm not laying the 250, but I might consider a alternate run line, maybe lay 2 with the Dodgers at a pretty good price.
Ooh, how about this? Letdown spots we always talk about, Joe. Mid-afternoon game, New York Mets and the Washington Nationals.
Ooh.
Nationals knocked off the Mets last night. Sean Manaea, the lefty's going to go on the mound today, taking on Mackenzie Gore. The total in this game, also 7.5. So they've seen that bumped up now. You see the graphic about to pop up. That's an 8. We're now seeing also 8.5 in the marketplace, and a current live favorite of -130 to -134 for the New York Metropolitans today. Can the Mets pick up a victory today? You can't go farther back. Phillies aren't playing today. You need Mets to get a victory to get a half game back.
Man, just when you think the Mets have figured something out, they throw up all over themselves yesterday. But I had mentioned it earlier. Nimmo left that game early yesterday. No word on whether or not he's going to be in the lineup here today. And he's a pretty big part of what they are doing. But they also can't hit lefties here, Donnie. We know this. The Mets have struggled here in the second half against lefties, and this is one of the better ones in Mackenzie Gore. I don't trust the Nats to score a ton of runs either, but this has got a first 5 under to me. I don't like either bullpen, obviously. So I'll take less runs early in this game, under 4.5 in the first 5 for me.
Yeah, you're going to have to keep an eye on some of those starting lineups that come out for this afternoon. I believe it's a getaway day. I don't think they're going to be playing any more baseball games. So teams looking to get out of town, we'll see how that protrudes. But also understand this, the Mets do need victories. You can't let the Phillies get a 7 or 8 game lead by the end of August and try to track them down in September. We take a look at Houston and Baltimore. Houston got out of Dodge in Detroit with a massive offensive performance of 2 runs. The reason we joke around, they didn't score the previous 3 games, and it looked like for a while they might not score in game number 4 against Detroit. Well, they did, but they still took the loss, and they're still in first place. Why? Because the Mariners can't get out of their own way right now. Alexander and Young on the mound. Not 2 good pitchers, but a total that's listed at 8.5 to 9, depending on where you're shopping at, and roughly a pick 'em. It's hard to look at Houston and say you want to back them, but they are pick 'em today for a reason, because Young isn't that good. He's had a good start. I don't know if it's his last start or the start before where he was sensational against the same Astros team, but he can't be sensational against the Astros again, or can he, Joe?
6 days ago, Donnie, he carried that perfect game into the 8th inning, and then he screwed it up himself in that spot there. But there's nothing in his metrics that tells us that anything is going to change here. He kept them off balance all day, but the reality is this is an injury-riddled Astros team that doesn't have a lot going on for it right now offensively. The lineup is banged up. They can't score. They got an 85 WRC plus over the past month. That's second to last in Major League Baseball. There's no reason to think that Brandon Young can't have success against this banged-up lineup again. And you got the O's playing inspired baseball with a lot of young guys coming up. So, yeah, Baltimore for me.
How about that? Balti out here. It's hard to back Houston just because they're in such a doldrum right now. It's either they're going to break out of it by scoring double-digit runs, or they'll be like, hey, man, we got our 1 or 2 runs. We're happy with that with another loss. But also understand this. If they're lucky the Mariners aren't playing great baseball right now, because Houston is playing worse baseball. But if you both lose, nobody loses any ground on that same day. Let's take a look at the nightcap tonight. The St. Louis Cardinals in town to take on Tampa Bay, who are just happy, I guess, the Yankees and their fan base and their belongings have moved on, because that's their spring training home, and they hit a lot of home runs against them. St. Louis comes to town fresh off a terrible performance against the Marlins yesterday. Gray versus Boyle, total of 8.5, and a slight favorite here to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, it's both of these teams, right? If we thought after the first half of the season, Donnie, like we were pleasantly surprised. Could the Cardinals and the Rays make a run? But yeah, no, doesn't look like they're going to. They're on life support right now. So both these teams need to get something going. To me, it's all about the offense. Do we trust the offenses in this one? Sonny Gray's been great at home. Not necessarily on the road. I think Tampa's got a slight edge in this one here, Donnie. I really do.
I like St. Louis just because the pitching matchup, but again, it's just odd. Like Sonny Gray's got a 6 ERA, but an unbelievably low xFIP. Like something has to give tonight in that environment. And then take a look at Boyle, who's just bad on both sides to me. It's not a great team in the Cardinals. The Cardinals aren't going anywhere. How much life is going to be in that building? There'll be 10,000 fans watching. We just want to see that ball travel a little bit. I look at that 8.5, and I just think it's like a setup. Like you want to take the over 8.5, Joe, and it's like, yeah, it makes some sense. High ERAs, and we wind up somehow with a 3-2 game because the Yankees on the other side bashing home runs left and right. It's Contreras, it's Newt Barr, as opposed to that you're bashing out home runs with Aaron Judge and the boys there and like Giancarlo Stanton. But that's the Major League Baseball card today, Joe. Game number 1 once again starts at 1:10 this afternoon, and the night game at 7:35, and away you go into a full Friday slate. So Major League Baseball card, handicapped, checked and ready. The final segment of the show today, you know what we do. It's buy. We're going Major League Baseball. We're going 2-0 today. But I think it's a pretty good card where there are angles with not a lot of great pitchers, which is always a good sign if you want some runs.
Yeah, no, getaway days are always interesting. And we've got a couple of teams here, though, that you can feel the pressure starting to mount. You got to start racking up some wins this time of year, especially, Donnie, when you're supposed to win and you're a favorite. Like the Mets, you got to get it done here. This is a big game for them. And Milwaukee got to stop the bleeding here. Can't win 14 and then lose 8 straight.
Yeah, heavy favorite, by the way, out in Colorado for Clayton Kershaw. Why is that big again? Look, you just had a great series against the Padres. Don't slip back. You get another Padres victory today. You get another Dodgers loss in Colorado. And now we're starting to look at that vice grip tightening here as we get to the final weeks of August into the month of September. But again, a good Major League Baseball card. Not a lot of great pitchers here. And also Boston and New York starting it off tonight at 7:15. That's something to watch. You sweep that series, get out of town, people. You'll be making your way up the standings. Let's go here. Kenny Ducey's coming up. U.S. Open tennis talk next.
Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Giants are probably going to open up 1-5 on the season. So then you start to say the fans are getting angry. They just want to see Dart. The ownership's like, hey, you know what? Maybe we need to make the right move with Russ here. But then you have self-preservation mode with the general manager and the head coach where it almost seems like it's inevitable. Midway through the season, it's going to have to be Jackson Dart. Otherwise, what are we doing, Giants?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay. I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Passing offense is him, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. They have Jahan Dotson. They just recently traded for John Mechie from the Houston Texans. Now, obviously, yes, Saquon is there, but a lot of people are expecting the Eagles to have an increase in their passing rate this year. They won't rely as heavily on Saquon, and it should just mean more volume overall. Obviously, Brown was fantastic, and he did so in not playing a full season last year.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, no, it's an early line without talking about the Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons and the saga that continues. And by the way, before we talk about Micah Parsons' show, Netflix has an entertaining Dallas Cowboys trilogy that I've been watching. I'm 2 episodes in, and I'm loving every minute of it right now. The old school, how Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys and how they came up through the 1990s. That's where I'm at right now. I'm enjoying it, Joe. Did you check out that Netflix Cowboys deal, huh? Check it out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just started it too. It's very well done. And anybody that grew up during the heyday of the Dallas Cowboys, it wasn't always puppy dogs and rainbows before Jimmy Johnson got there. The Landry days at the end were not great. But then old Jerry comes along, picks it up, gets it, makes it a family business. And it's done very, very well from what I can see here, Donnie. And it's like taking you back. If you followed the Cowboys, you grew up with them, you're going, wow, I remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah, Jerry buying that team, hemorrhaging $1 million a month in cash flow. It's like, I might have to sell this team before I make it here. But boy, you talk about a good businessman borrowing money to make money. Ooh. He did that. And now look how much money the Dallas Cowboys are worth. Now, it doesn't matter how much money the Dallas Cowboys are worth. They don't want to share that wealth, apparently, with Micah Parsons now. Here's Brian Schottenheimer with a quote. I think at the end of the day, we feel like Micah is going to be out there when we line up against Philadelphia in 15 days or so. No contract negotiations going on. Both sides are angry, but he's like, yeah, you know what? We expect to see him on Thursday. Boy, wouldn't that be an amazing story if Micah Parsons doesn't make it to the game against the Eagles opening night? I can't see that happening, but we're driving that car down the street, Joe, and them tires are starting to fall off right now.
But again, par for the course, where this is what Jerry does. And eventually, in the 23rd hour, Donnie, he shows up and says, deal done. See, told you didn't have to lose any sleep over it. Told you it was going to work. Listen, he's under contract. That's what makes this so weird, Donnie, is that he's the only one that's going to lose out if he doesn't play games.
Absolutely. Losing out, maybe the Philadelphia Eagles win that, show them the trophy, and away we go. But I think we do have our guest here, Kenny Ducey. We're going to talk some U.S. Open tennis right here on the early line. Kenny Ducey, welcome into the program. We got some business to talk about today, don't we?
We absolutely do. Yeah, I just want to get myself centered and shot. Welcome. It's very nice to be here. And yes, I'm very excited. Welcome to the best part of the tennis calendar, because we're really just winding it down here. But it's been an incredible summer so far. We've had some great stories, and we've got some drama happening in mixed doubles. So yeah, it's a great time to talk tennis.
All we can ask for is some unbelievable tennis. And a lot of times in Flushing, Queens, it gets provided to that late summer, the heat and humidity creep in, Arthur Ashe Court, everything rocking and rolling. So I want to start right here at the men's draw. Now, granted, we do have some time till we get to see these superstars on the court, but the usual suspects, as I like to say, at the top of the odds leaderboard here for us, Kenny. Sinner, Alcaraz, Djokovic, Draper. It's fantastic to see these guys. Is the anticipation that we'll get another unbelievable performance out of Sinner and Alcaraz, or are there other guys down the line that you might be taking a look at that can be real surprises in the U.S. Open this year?
Yeah, I think the one guarantee that I might have is that there is going to be a surprise. Now, it's been a really weird summer for Jannik Sinner. It's been a weird season, to be frank. I mean, he had the suspension, and then he had the illness in Cincinnati just a week ago, which was really disappointing. He retired down 5-0 to Carlos Alcaraz. I'm not going to speculate, but it certainly hasn't been the strong, I guess Jannik Sinner had a lot of health issues a couple of years ago. He did seem to shake some of those off. Remember, he would always be pulling out with blisters, or he was sick, or, elbow. There's been a lot of things over his career that have built, but yeah, I mean, that was obviously an unknown thing that he's been dealing with. He's been dealing with injuries this year. I don't know if he's necessarily going to get to the final, if he's going to set one up with Carlos Alcaraz. I think there's a lot of guys in this draw that could certainly make some noise. Jack Draper's a guy that has had a good year. He did win a Masters 1000 this year, but there's another guy who won a Masters 1000 this year as well, and that's Ben Shelton, around 3,500, maybe even higher at some shops. There's a couple of talented lefties. Those two guys, I think, could definitely make some noise here. And it just feels like there's going to be one big story here written, whether it's Alexander Zverev maybe making it back to a Grand Slam final. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't feel like it's just an inevitability that we're going to see Sinner Alcaraz like always, really.
You're right. I mean, the stepping away from Cincinnati, dropping out of the mix for Sinner here, again, claiming all sorts of health issues. And then, of course, on the women's side, I think it's fascinating. How do you fire your coach if you're Coco Gauff just before the U.S. Open here? And whatever happened with her? I mean, what is going on the women's side? Is she not even a factor anymore?
I mean, it is pretty funny. I certainly think she can be a factor, because I do feel like we have said this before about her. Like, she's been able to win Grand Slams before without a serve. It's never really been this bad, right? She's obviously never had a dominant first or second serve, and then really we've had some for years now. She's had issues on the forehand wing. She's tried to improve those. She's really won throughout her career despite her own limitations. So I do feel like she still can be a factor, yes, but it is getting really scary watching her out there practicing she's never served before with some of her coaches. And the other thing I'll say about this is that I'm not, I've never been a professional tennis player, so I'm not in a position to say that I know what's going on with their coaches, but I will say I have seen this happen before where you see a coach working with someone right before a big tournament, and it feels like things are going really well with the new coach, and then bang, the coach is out. Or, I don't know if it's like you've reached your limit of how much you can learn with the coach, but yes, it's definitely, we'd like to see something different. The narrative when she won the U.S. Open was Brad Gilbert was her new coach and everything was great. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're excited about the U.S. Open certainly starting up here and having some fun. It's a great way to sort of end the tennis season, per se, in the summer months here on the hard court with the advantages. If I asked you one time, who's going to win for the men's draw and the women's draw, who would those two be?
Oh, I actually think we're going to see Ben Shelton win this tournament. I don't know why, I don't know how, but he did win a Masters 1000. I did not think he had that in him. It wasn't the greatest, hard court season in terms of the North American hard court swing, but it just feels like Alcaraz is the only guy that's really running head and shoulders away from the rest of the field. And I feel like he's really put together he's done some shaky performances all year long, and especially the last, 4 or 5 Grand Slams. So I'm going to say Ben Shelton because I do feel like the conditions get a little slower down higher.
Thank you, Kenny Ducey. Appreciate the input. We'll be right back right here on the Early Line.
Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Giants are probably going to open up 1-5 on the season. So then you start to say the fans are getting angry. They just want to see Dart. The ownership's like, hey, you know what? Maybe we make the right move with Russ here. But then you have self-preservation mode with the general manager and the head coach, where it almost seems like it's inevitable. Midway through the season, it's going to have to be Jackson Dart. Otherwise, what are we doing, Giants?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay. I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Passing offense is him, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. They have Jahan Dotson. They just recently traded for John Mechie from the Houston Texans. Now, obviously, yes, Saquon is there, but a lot of people are expecting the Eagles to have an increase in their passing rate this year. They won't rely as heavily on Saquon, and it should just mean more volume overall. Obviously, Brown was fantastic, and he did so in not playing a full season last year.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Bringing down the house on the early line. It's how we do it. It's a Thursday, and boy, oh boy, did we set the table. We got some U.S. Open tennis talk squeezed into here. We had Tom Vecchio giving out some plays this morning. We covered the NFL and its doubleheader tonight that you will be watching, as well as Major League Baseball. The entire card has been handicapped all the way through. But this is the part of the show that we love to reach out to the public and see where they're going in our Fade the Public poll. Fade them, and maybe the public's looking to fade the Boston Red Sox, or maybe Joe Ranieri, they're looking to fade the New York Yankees. But if you went to our SportsGrid account on X today, at SportsGrid, will the Yankees sweep the Red Sox in the Bronx, was the question that we asked to the public. A resounding no, and I agree with that. It's hard to sweep a team as is. It's even harder to sweep a really good baseball team, which they both are, and it's even harder to do that, Joe, over a 4-game set that's going to take place this weekend. 82% of the public said, ain't going to be no sweep by the Yankees over the Boston Red Sox in the Bronx.
No, I mean, that's a big ask for the Yankees. But I will say this. The Yankees all year long have been a team where they either lose a lot of games in a row, Donnie, or they win a lot of games in a row.
Yep.
And right now they're on a pretty good winning streak. So could they win 2, maybe the first 3 games of the series? I would, I wouldn't bet against that, or them winning the series outright altogether.
I'll tell you what the people are betting against, shows. You said pros versus Joes on the total in this game, 8.5 listed. Hey, could we get a lot of runs in the Bronx today? Maybe we don't, but it should be a playoff atmosphere this weekend for a 4-game set in the Bronx between the New York Yankees and those Boston Red Sox. But now it's time to get to the news of the day. And what is that? That's not hot topics. It's bye, 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 people. Send them out with a dubstep. Send them out with winners. Leave them wanting more, Joe. That's what we do. Yesterday, as a team, 1-1 on the card yesterday. Milwaukee came up a little bit lame. Extra innings, the Athletics helped us out. So I'm going to ask you this question. Where are you going with your money tonight for the people out there so we can cash in?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go back to Baltimore here, Donnie, because we just watched this 6 days ago. We watched the rookie Brandon Young almost throw a perfect game against these same Houston Astros. And listen, you've got 2 teams, unfortunately, going in different directions right now. You've got an O's team that has won 6 of their last 7. They're playing inspired baseball. They got a lot of young guys, big prospects that they've called up, and it's working. You've got Brandon Young coming in here in a hobbled shell of themselves offense for Houston. I like the O's to do it again, but I like them early this time. I'd like Baltimore in the first 5. I think they get to Anderson before this Houston lineup gets to Brandon Young again. I don't know that we're going to get a ton of runs in this game, but I like the chances of the O's playing in front in this one.
Bye, bye, bye. For me, I'm going to go down to Tampa tonight. We're going outdoors and keeping it at George Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, and that's a game between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, for me, it's going to be simple. I like analytics. That's what I like to use. I have a pitcher today in Sonny Gray that has analytics of an xFIP number of 2.81 over the past 45 days. I then see Joe Boyle at a 520 here. So I have a difference between a 520 xFIP, which is off the charts terrible, and a 281 xFIP here for Sonny Gray, which is very good. Now, the ERAs do differ, but I'm just trusting the smart people, Joe, the analytical crowd, the guys that have the pocket protectors with the pens. That's where we're going today on this. I'm taking Sonny Gray. And by the way, You see that price point about to pop up on the screen, minus 115? Catching a little steam this morning, Joe. Minus 122s, minus 120s in the marketplace. We got some CLV already on those Cardinals here. The people are digging Sonny Gray. And I know you're not actually, but that's okay. It's no big deal.
Well, listen, it's Sonny Gray obviously should have the advantage on the mound for him here, Donnie. So I think it's a coin flip game. Both teams have shown, sometimes it's hard to score some runs in big spots here. But I think if Sonny Gray does his job, they got a pretty good chance of actually winning this game. Who hits more home runs, Donnie? That's who's going to win the game.
Let's go, people. Lars, new bar style. By the way, Joe, what's your favorite topic of the day today? For me, it was bullets fired at Big Red in 24. Do you have a favorite topic or two that you looked at today and loved?
Oh, I actually loved that. Was actually really good. I thought the Jets holding a team meeting, a players-only team meeting in week 2 of the preseason tells you everything you need to know about the direction of the New York Jets already.
Oh, yeah, Justin Fields, MVP season. Could that be Joe Lisi's topics here, talking about that coming up on football season? Certainly not our topics here on those New York Jets, but we will have doubleheader action in preseason football today. And you know what? Donnie Wright said it's Joe Ranieri. We'll be back early tomorrow morning. Take handicap and also cover for NFL football. It's what we do on the grid. See you bright and early tomorrow morning.